one day I was new here. I got approached by like 7 or so people. They just kind of surrounded me in Starbucks, and I'm like confused because I'm like, this is public. And these people, they have presented me with a bus pass and told me that I'm not welcome here. I should take this bus pass and get on the bus and go to Long Beach because we're not welcome here. It was some super like racist stuff. Ever since that day, I realized that I'm gonna have to fight for my place in the city, fight for my right to be called local here.
Hey, everybody, welcome to the next episode of Just Healing. I am so excited about today because today we're going to be talking about stuff that's pretty current and has been current for a very, very long time in our society. And we have an amazing person that I met at my script conference and came and did like a keynote panel, which was awesome. And so he's going to introduce himself, but we caught him on the run and I wanted him on here so bad. So I said, you know what? Let's just get you on camera. And so I want to introduce you to an amazing person, Tory Johnson.
Hello, hello. Uh, yeah, I'm Tory Johnson. I'm the leader and founder of Black Lives Matter Huntington Beach. I'm from Indiana originally. I moved here in Huntington Beach in like 2012, basically with like a backpack and a dream. And you know, I just wanted to. I had a dream, and I didn't want to live in snow anymore. I decided to move out here and follow my dreams, play music, and just kind of live out my days in my happy place, which is on the beach in Huntington Beach in Orange County, California.
Yeah, but you have a very interesting background because you came to me by way of a Better LA, which is Pete Carroll's organization, because you are like the head of Huntington Beach Black Lives Matter, and it started like in COVID. Like I think that was my 2020 script, and I threw you, remember, on a panel with the police chiefs, right,
Right.
and the sheriffs and the Black Panthers.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Shout
And
out
I
to
said,
us.
we're going to talk about what the hell this means, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, oh my goodness. So, why don't you talk a little bit about how you even got involved in the Black Lives Matter movement?
So here in Huntington Beach, I didn't necessarily know this when I moved here, but Huntington Beach has a super strong and is known to be historically like racist past. They've the racial tensions here have not been they're not the most welcoming city in the past, and they're not the most welcoming city presently. Um, we can talk about that in a little bit, but even to begin on that, like, and kind of, I have to go back to Indiana because where I'm from, um, is literally 30 minutes from Elwood, Indiana. And if you know anything about Elwood, Indiana, that's where the KKK was actually founded, right? And so, like, I come from a like pretty racist area and a historically racist area, true history there. Um, so I kind of, in 2009, I went on a full United States tour with my band, and we had like 5 off dates or something like that, like while we were on the tour. This was after we had just came out of like Vegas or something, like maybe a week or a week and a half prior. But so now we had another 5 off dates, and we just decided to spend them all here in Huntington Beach. It's the best time ever. You know, we had our whole band with us, all of our gear in the back. We had our tour passes. We had everything. So like the city was super fun. Everyone was like, "Wow, a metal band!" We were like rock stars and local celebrities. I had such a good time here that I was like, if I ever press the restart button on my life, I want to feel like that every day. I want to move to Huntington Beach, California. And so 3 years later, 2012, I pressed the restart button. Now, when I didn't experience or know any of the like history of the city. I just saw a beautiful city with a huge beach that's like super party and really fun all day, every day, it looked like. So I moved here. But when I moved here, I got a completely opposite experience because, like I said, like I showed up here with a backpack and a dream. My car didn't make it all the way here, On the way to California, 2012, my car broke down in Colorado on the I-70 West. I had to scrap my car and then sell everything I couldn't carry. And then I finished the rest of my trip here to Huntington Beach on a Greyhound, and like that was my beginnings here. So it was like completely opposite of my previous experience here. But I was like, oh, no worries, I could just make friends, la la la. Well, I didn't realize what I was stepping into, but at the same time, it's like when you put yourself in the ring, that's when you kind of have to become a man, you know, like you're in the field now. So I left my mom's nest. I'm out here, and then now I'm just like experiencing the culture and stuff, and I'm seeing like a lot of like skinheads and like crazy stuff. I'm hearing about groups that I've never even heard about before, like I met all the P9 guys and uh, this group and that group. There are 8 different types of skinheads here. Like I learned that allegedly there's a good group of skinheads. Like they're skinheads, but these guys are okay because they're like for everybody, but they're just like white power, but they're not bad. It just, I didn't, so I just, when I moved here, I was just super confused about kind of the culture and stuff. Um, and then, uh, one day, uh, this is a really long answer to your question, but, one day even, I remember I was new here still. And I was like living on the streets, and I was just at Starbucks with my laptop and, you know, uh, probably trying to get a job or do something. I didn't know what I was doing, but I was in Starbucks with my laptop. I got approached actually by a huge group of skinheads. I don't know exactly which branch they were, but I do know there were a few P9 people in there. Um, But I was in Starbucks. I got approached by like 7 or so people. They just kind of surrounded me in Starbucks, and I'm like confused because I'm like, this is public. This is Main Street. Like, what is going on here? Um, and these people like they they had presented me with a bus pass and told me that I'm not welcome here and that um I should take this bus pass and get on the bus and go to Long Beach because we're not welcome here. I don't, I want to say they said the blacks, but I don't want to like put words in their mouth. But they said some like it was some super like racist stuff. Um, and then they also tried to take my laptop that day. And then they were like, if you don't take this bus pass and you stay here, uh, like it's gonna be problems on the streets. And so, kind of ever since that day, like that's when I really knew what it was here in Huntington Beach. And, I realized that I'm going to have to fight for my place in the city or fight for my right to be called local here. And so over the next few years, that's what I had to do. And then I kind of, yeah. So all this, fast forward to your actual question. The BLM stuff started in 2012 when they were doing right after the George Floyd stuff happened. I'd had a lot of trouble with the police department here in Huntington Beach specifically. At one point, I remember like when those skinhead people cornered me at Starbucks, I actually went to the guy that was a sergeant at the time, and then I complained to him. But then I heard from one of the skinheads that were caused all of this that that police officer was the one who told them to even chase me out of town, right? So like I complained about it, nothing happened, and then over the next few years there are like different cases of harassment and stuff. I really couldn't do anything about it. I still can't. Like there's things like 2019 there was a huge thing at my work. I do local security here. I'm a bouncer. Um, I was working head of security at a nightclub on Main Street, and for no reason at all, there was actually like the police weren't called or anything like that. Um, these police officers kind of had like a bug up their butt for, I think, my manager. So how the ranking went was the ranking went owner, manager, and then me, head of security, and then there was like bartenders and like the however else you want to dice it up. But my manager had some sort of issue with the police officer before because a police officer wanted some video footage of a prior incident. Um, Something had happened with the cameras to where that video footage could not be provided. Uh, and then that officer had just gotten like really butthurt and mad at, I guess, now the entire business. Well, I ended up catching a stray from that because I guess a few weeks later, this officer is just like walking by, and he didn't think I had my guard card or wasn't legit or whatever. But he starts demanding guard cards and stuff from everyone. I'm on camera showing him, hey, this is my guard card information, because you can look us all up on the BSIS website here in California. If you're a licensed, legal, whatever, you're probably on this BSIS website. Um, so I'm showing him all this stuff, and he's like, no, that's not good enough. I need to see a physical card. Why don't you have a physical card? And I'm like, because I have it right here on my phone. Look, it's all up to date. This is a government website. You can't I can't make that up. Like, but that wasn't good enough. At this time, I'd actually become relatively popular. Like I was a pretty popular guy, Like everyone's like we were one of the bigger nightclubs in downtown Huntington Beach, so we were like kind of running Main Street sort of deal. Um, so we had a whole bar full of people at the time. Like, so this is during business hours. We're at full operation. Maybe anywhere from 200 to 400 people are inside of our club. And a lot of my friends are inside of there. So like they're watching the police like harassing us and doing all this other stuff. But then when the police like go to I think they go to put me in handcuffs or something like that, that's when all hell breaks loose. People are coming out of the bar. It becomes a scene. Like people were offended by how I was being treated or whatever. I didn't say anything. I wasn't causing a riot or anything. But next thing I know, like there's like brawls and stuff happening on the street. Police just start like grabbing people and throwing them to the ground. One guy got placed in a carotid chokehold, actually lost consciousness. I was taken to jail too, this night. But the guy that got placed in a chokehold ended up suing our city for like $900,000 or something. But he's from LA. He won the actual lawsuit. I tried to get a lawyer out of Irvine, some like kind of like maybe I didn't pursue it enough or whatever, but my lawyer in Irvine looked at my footage and was like, "Well, you have nothing here, blah 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 blah," and it was what it was. But like, I literally got arrested in front of my place of employment for nothing. Once I actually like got to jail and was released and all that other stuff, the prosecution declined to press charges on me because they were like, he didn't break the law, right? And so when you don't break the law, you get carted off to jail. Your rights violated. You almost lose your job. I did not lose my job, thank God, you know. But in front of all those people and stuff, like the
What's interesting is that you went through all of that, right?
right,
And people don't realize how traumatizing that is, right?
yeah,
And that brings up layers and layers and layers of trauma, right?
right,
And one thing about men healing and men who heal is that they have all that, but they keep those feelings tight to their chest, right? And what I met when I met you, you were like, no, man, like, this is not okay because there's other people who look like me who are not talking about this, right?
right,
Was that a
right.
propeller for you?
Absolutely, it is. Like here in our community again, there's like over 10,000 businesses in Huntington Beach. Less than 3 are black owned. Um, like if you're poor, and the fact that I've made it this far in Huntington Beach is crazy. Um, our current city council even, and they're going to be current for the next few years, you know. Um, our newly current elected city council members, they've actually waged war on people that uh, are attempting to even start out like I did. Like the people that are unhoused or like they don't have fit in this certain demographic, like they're green lighting them to be arrested, their cars impounded, um, just they can be have no criminal history prior to this, but just because they don't fit like within a certain financial demographic, now their lives are going to be changed and affected forever because now they're having to deal with they're being treated as a criminal and they're just somebody that's starting off maybe a little shaky. I
Well,
didn't
yeah,
know.
and that's the thing that I think people don't get about a lot of the stuff that happens, is that it may be more of a economic thing and differences in money and power
Yeah.
versus just skin color, right? Like and
Right.
so if you don't have the economic structure there, you're looked at very differently sometimes by certain parts of society, right?
Right. Right. And so even then, like when here locally, like when kind of when like it's like you can't be above the white man on your same level, you know? Like you guys are like I here locally, it's a strange culture. Even just like two Fridays ago, I just got called like three different N-words in one night. I don't know, but they're here in Huntington Beach. It's just like a strange culture to where again, if you don't look a certain way and fit in that certain financial demographic, you're viewed as a criminal, and they'll treat you as such.
Yeah, you're viewed very differently. And one of the things, like when I talked to you about Black Lives Matter before, is that people always think it's just black people. And it's really about people of color, right? It's about people looking different for different reasons, right?
Now on the MAGA train that here in Huntington Beach again, like these are our local skinheads that they want me to go fight, fight, fight with, and I'm like, dude, I can't stand next to you guys. I know you guys for real. And I'm like, you're you're wanting me to openly stand with the enemy, and then these are the things that you guys are doing. Like you guys are not making this a welcoming city. You guys are not like you guys are redlining the city, and that's just what it is. Like Why does Long Beach, which is right next door to Huntington Beach, have such a huge black population? But we have less than 3 black owned businesses out of 10,000 here in our city. Why do black families not want to move here? I know a lot of black families here in California with money. Do they not feel safe to send their children to Huntington Beach High School or Edison High School? Like, what is it about our city that makes black families not want to move here? And if you ask an outsider that lives close to Huntington Beach, that is from a good black family, about Huntington Beach, they're like, they give you the raised eyebrow and they're like, why do you live there?
The
Yeah.
nonverbals. Yeah, and so I'm wondering, what can we do to change this? What are we lacking in society to help us change this perspective?
I think it's really just true compassion for others. Here in California, like in the Midwest, right? Like we're known for being like really nice. We can hate you, you know? We can hate you, but we're gonna kill you with kindness. You know,
We're gonna
that
smile.
might be where that came from.
Yeah.
Um, so like Wisconsin, Indiana, like a lot of most of those states, we're just like really generous and we're grateful and we know how to like just genuinely care for other people, you know? Um, Here in California, I feel like there's a lot of like actor culture, which has to be more centered about me. There's a spotlight on me. Everything happen happening around me doesn't matter because it's all about me. So like for example, in Indiana, we'll see it here in 2024 even crazy, but in 2024 in Indiana, like if you were pulled over on the side of the road and you had a flat tire, you know, something like that, and somebody just driving along, just going about their day, they're gonna stop, they're gonna check on you, they're probably gonna help you change that tire or change it for you, you know? Versus here in California, boy, we see somebody on the side of the road, they're broke down and man, I can't stop here. Oh, you know, just keep on rolling. So, um, there's like I feel like there's a lack of empathy and real care for others. Like somehow in California, we've lost the message really, like with just to love each other. And that's what we're not doing is we don't love each other out here. Like we're not, yeah,
No, I agree with you, as somewhat in a lot of ways because, one of the things I always say to people, listen and love, you gotta listen to people's words, not just hear them talking at you, right?
right,
Listen and take it in, right? And then you
right,
respond with love, meaning that if you're always responding with kindness in your words, right? You can't be saying something intentionally to hurt anybody, right?
right,
And a lot of times we forget that in our world. Like you talk about the person on the side of the road. I kid you not. Like I'm watching and I stopped my car, but I remember me and my husband talk about this all the time. We were on our way to see a show at the Contagious. And
right,
this motorcycle driver, he hit something like a rock. I don't know, just hit it the wrong way. He landed. His motorcycle skid, caught on fire. He was on fire, skidding in front of us. Okay, we're like, oh my god, like freaking out. We stopped our car, got out of the car. I don't know what we were gonna do. The guy's on fire. Okay, then it
yeah,
turned out finally, two people behind us stopped. One happened to be a nurse, and one happened to be an off-duty cop. But all of these other cars we're like, what are we supposed to do? We're just going by, like taking pictures. They were not stopping, and I'm just like, and when we got back in our car, because the cop already had it, the nurse was treating him. We're like, we're in the way. We knew this, and so we're gonna move. We've got where it needs to go because you don't want too many bystanders, right? And so I said, but what was with those people? Right? We didn't see
right.
anything but flames and stopped our car. Like we didn't care about our show. And I'm just like, wow, That is just wow. Like we were in shock because he's from the Midwest and I lived there and I was like, what's different? Like what is this culture that you're going to go with your phone? Like it didn't make any sense to us. And that has nothing to do with your race, what you look
Right.
like, what it has nothing to do with your social economic because you don't know who the person is. This guy was covered in leather, right? But they
Right.
didn't bother to stop for a human being. And so I wonder, I want to ask you, like, what is it going to take? How do we become change agents? Because you're becoming a change agent. They know your name, Huntington Beach, right? How
Yeah.
do we become a change agent to do what you can in your little neck of the woods in your world? Like everybody has a world. What can we do?
I think the reason love is so important to me is because like that's something that I've always lacked in my life, right? Like my actual life is like a part of my history. Like um growing up, my biggest thing was I didn't want to be like my mom, but I was like kind of like a I don't know if you guys ever watched the movie August Rush, but
Yes.
in that movie, um, August is like he's a little orphan, you know, and basically he's like if I play my music loud enough, you know, maybe my parents will hear it, you know. Well, and I was always have that mentality. Well, maybe if I play my music loud enough, my mom will love me again, you know? Um, like I went into foster care when I was like 2 years old. And then from like 2 to 14, like I I think my mom had a parental rights stripped from her when I was actually 6 years old. So like I had only seen her maybe a few times in between 2 and 6. And any like a lot of my past memories, they were not good memories. No one should ever have to kind of live like that. I was like the child called it, like, you know. I don't know if you also read that book, but that's also another terrible story. But um kind of growing up like that from 2 to 6, there was like a lot. I went through like 28 different foster homes, 4 placements, like just a bunch. I think 2 different group homes or something like that. Um, and that's from 2 to 14. So when you're growing up like that, you don't really get to experience like stability, connection, love, or just like have that like real human feeling, you know? So that's something that like I've always lacked, but lacked receiving, but I've always kind of understood that it was out there and I got to see it for other people, you know? So I guess moving forward, like when I'm going forward in life today, is I just want to like love people in a way that like I just don't want people to feel like how maybe I currently feel or have felt in the past, you know, like where you just feel a lot of people feel like they're invisible. Like I'm surrounded. A lot of people know my name, you know, a lot of people know my name, but very few people know who I like know me personally, like on a real day to day level. You know, there's a lot of superficial relationships around you, but like again, what you can be individually is you can be the difference that you want to see, right? Be the change that you want to see. So if I want to see people loving each other more, then I kind of have to put my own pride aside and be like, you know, I'm a strong black man. I'm easy and quick to anger, you know? But at the same time, I have to be able to put that away when the time comes. It's not bad to have that spirit in you. That's what made me who I am now, you know? But at the same time, you need to be able to put that away and be able to just genuinely love on people. And so I also use like I'm not. I I'm not currently a Christian anymore, but I did used to be like a super devout Christian, so I'm sure that had something that plays a role in it too. You know, where like okay, they talk about love in this book, and that's a beautiful story. I really do want to love people like that. You know, maybe our views may differ other places, but when it speaks about the love, you know, like that's something that I've always wanted more than anything. Like you know, so that's my how I'm trying to be an agent of change.
Well, yeah, and one of the things that, always stood out about me is I think I met you right after all of these incidents happened, but you told me how you forgave these people, like how you could move forward and try to work it out. You know what I mean? And
Right.
I just thought that was like incredible, to be able to see it from a different set of eyes because you still live in Huntington Beach,
Yeah,
right?
actually, yeah, I'm literally right here on the beach right now. Uh, it's beautiful here. I wish you guys could see what I'm looking at, but um, yeah, it's Huntington Beach has been a journey, you know. But right now, like moving forward, I'm more looking into like, well, what can we do to improve Huntington Beach as a city, right? Like, I threatened to run for city council before, then I realized they're going to expose exactly how poor you are. You know, you're a
Yeah.
public figure. That means you're a
Yeah.
public target, you know? Um, so I dealt with a lot of that, but I think in the future, what I want to do is, you know, I want to tighten up my ship a little bit better, you know, and then potentially like maybe I can run for city council. Maybe I can actually, you know, be an instrument of change and progress here within our city. Um, the first, the first black woman city council member ever here. And she, in fact, first black person in the history of Huntington Beach was just city council Rhonda Bolton for the last 2 years. She just lost in the last election, but you know, for the rest of history now in Huntington Beach, she is the first black person to ever, you know, and
Yeah.
that's a black woman.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not impossible here. It's 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 just an uphill battle, you know. Um, but I want to focus more on like the housing redlining situation because I just actually learned just last week or this week actually, I just learned that our average household rental prices are $5,300 here in Huntington Beach. $5,300 a month. And I'm like, that is not that's ridiculous. we're a small we're a small little community. There's no affordable housing here for anyone. You guys are not this is not an equal opportunity city. Like people can come here with nothing and you can gain the world, you know? Like this is a there's so much opportunity around you, but they're kind of gatekeeping it, you know? They're like, this is our land. You can't, we don't want you to meet our people. We don't want you to, you know, like,
Yeah.
we don't want you to become a local. You can't, you have to go. Go to Long Beach, go to Laguna Beach, go to any beach that's not Huntington Beach.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we're almost out of time, but one of the things I want to ask you is what do you want to leave everybody with?
since I moved out here, I learned a few things that are super valuable to me. One, I learned that you're a reflection of your surroundings, right? So if you have nothing, don't hang out with necessarily like, don't be a reflection of having nothing. Go find people that have something, right? Try to learn from those people, work for those people, build with those people, right? If you're hanging out with people that have nothing and you have nothing, you guys are just gonna have a big nothing sandwich with no opportunity in the big nothing universe, you know? Versus if you surround yourself with leaders, small business owners, educators, people that are just like productive and doing stuff. Even when you start to lose your motivation, there's a strong tower somewhere where you can look, where it's not going to be so cloudy over there, and you can see some sunshine. You know, even in the darkest part of the night, the sun will still shine in the morning. So, like, there's a few things that I've just picked up that have really like helped me. Like, I'm still not completely where I want to be yet. I don't have my $1 million home yet, but I've learned some super, super valuable lessons while living out here in Huntington Beach. I've grown as a person and as an activist. I didn't even know I was an activist before I moved here. Um, I just kind of got thrown into the ring. But stand up for what you believe in, stand for what's right, and just, be strong and love people. Love people, but stand for those who can't stand for themselves too around you. Support your local community.
That's awesome. I always believe who you flock with reflects who you are, you know?
Right. Right.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to contact you?
You can find me on Instagram, TDZJ, TDEAZYJ, or Tory D. Johnson. You can find me also on Facebook, Tory D. Johnson, or my Black Lives Matter Huntington Beach Facebook group. Um, but yeah, feel free to reach out. I look forward to hearing from you. If you'd like to,
All right. Well, if you want to get a hold of him, go to his Black Lives Matter Facebook page for Huntington Beach, or you can add him on your Instagram. And I just want to thank you so much, Tory Johnson, for coming on here, because it has been eye-opening and you always fill people with hope, love, and joy. So thank you so much. And this has been a great episode of Just Healing.
Black Lives Matter.